The crystal glasses clinked against each other as I balanced the serving tray, weaving through Sophia's perfectly curated garden party. The irony wasn't lost on me. Yesterday, I'd signed a $50 million donation check, and today I was playing waitress at my sister-in-law's soiree. Andrea, darling, be careful with those glasses. They're Waterford, Sophia called out, her voice carrying that subtle note of condescension she perfected over the years. And do try to serve from the left side. That's what proper waitstaff does. I bit back a smile, remembering the email I'd received just that morning about the hospital wing naming ceremony. Sophia had no idea she'd be starting her new position as nurse manager in a building with my name on it. Of course, Sophia, I replied, adjusting my path to approach her guests from their left sides. My husband Tom, watching from the corner, shot me an apologetic look. He'd wanted to tell his sister the truth about our financial situation years ago, but I asked him not to. Sometimes silence was more valuable than vindication. Ladies, Sophia was holding court among her friends. Did you hear about the new pediatric oncology wing at Metropolitan General? They're saying some mysterious benefactor donated millions. Probably some old money family trying to dodge taxes. I nearly laughed out loud. If she only knew that the mysterious benefactor was currently serving her overpriced champagne. I start there Monday as the new nurse manager, she continued, preening. I'm sure I'll find out who it is. These rich donors always want their egos stroked. Catherine, her closest friend, sipped her drink. Well, whoever it is, they must be loaded. I heard they're putting in state-of-the-art everything. Even private rooms with beds for parents to stay overnight. Yes, I couldn't help adding as I offered fresh drinks. I heard they're focusing on making it less scary for the children. Art therapy rooms, gaming systems, even a rooftop garden. Sophia rolled her eyes. Andrea, dear, stick to serving. What would you know about hospital administration? More than you think, I wanted to say. Instead, I just smiled and continued my rounds. The truth was, I knew exactly what the wing needed because I'd spent 6 months there with my best friend's daughter, Emma, watching her fight leukemia. Those endless nights in uncomfortable chairs, seeing parents sleeping in shifts on hard floors. It had sparked something in me. When my tech company went public last year, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my portion of the proceeds. Tom had supported me completely, understanding why I wanted to keep it quiet. We lived modestly, never flaunting our wealth, and Sophia had taken that as confirmation of her assumption that we were struggling. Andrea, Sophia's sharp voice cut through my thoughts. We need more ice. Be a dear and fetch some from the kitchen. As I headed inside, I overheard her stage whisper to her friends. Poor thing. My brother could have done so much better. She's from such a common background. No refinement at all. But at least she makes herself useful at parties. Tom started to stand, his face flushing with anger. But I caught his eye and shook my head slightly. Monday would come soon enough. In the kitchen, I took a moment to check my phone. There was a message from the hospital board confirming the unveiling ceremony for Monday morning. Dr. Harrison wants to ensure you'll be there to greet the new staff, Mrs. Winters. As our primary benefactor, your presence would mean a lot. I typed a quick confirmation, imagining Sophia's face when she realized that her new workplace bore my name. Not out of ego, as she'd suggested, but because every child deserved to have their family close during treatment, and every parent deserved a comfortable place to hold their sick child. Andrea, Sophia appeared in the kitchen doorway. What's taking so long with that ice? And why are you on your phone? Really, if you can't afford proper help, the least you could do is be efficient yourself. I pocketed my phone and picked up the ice bucket. Sorry, Sophia. Just checking on an important meeting for Monday. She laughed, the sound dripping with condescension. Oh, what could be so important? Another temp job. Something like that, I replied, following her back outside. Let her think what she wanted. Monday would reveal everything. The rest of the party passed in a blur of serving drinks and enduring Sophia's not-so-subtle jabs about my background, career, and marriage to her brother. Tom kept giving me looks that said we should tell her. But I held firm. Some lessons were better learned through experience. As the last guest left, Sophia began instructing me on proper glass cleaning techniques as if I'd never seen a dishwasher before. I listened patiently, thinking about the state-of-the-art medical equipment being installed in my wing that very weekend. Oh, and Andrea, she added as she supervised my cleanup, I probably won't have time to socialize much once I start my new position. It's quite prestigious, you know, running an entire wing at Metropolitan General. I'll be far too busy with important people to host these little gatherings. I carefully placed the last crystal glass in its velvet-lined box. Don't worry, Sophia. I have a feeling we'll be seeing plenty of each other. She raised an eyebrow, clearly confused, but I just smiled and picked up my purse. Monday couldn't come soon enough. Monday morning arrived with picture-perfect autumn weather. I stood in Metropolitan General's lobby wearing a tailored navy suit that cost more than Sophia's monthly salary. The hospital board members clustered around me, reviewing final details for the wing dedication ceremony. Mrs. Winters, we've arranged for all new staff to gather in the main lobby at 8:30. Dr. Harrison explained. Your portrait has been installed, and the naming plaque is ready for unveiling. I checked my watch, 8:15, right on schedule. Andrea? A familiar voice cut through the crowd. What are you doing here? Sophia stood frozen in the doorway, wearing her new nurse manager uniform, her designer handbag clashing with the practical clothes. Her eyes darted between me and the board members, confusion evident on her face. Good morning, Sophia, I smiled. Here for your first day? Before she could respond, Dr. Harrison stepped forward. Ah, Ms. Carter. Perfect timing. I'd like you to meet our primary benefactor, Mrs. Alexandra Winters. Her generous donation made this new wing possible. I watched as the color drained from Sophia's face. Her mouth opened and closed several times, no words coming out. But she's my sister-in-law, she finally managed. She serves drinks at my parties. An uncomfortable silence fell over the lobby. Dr. Harrison cleared his throat. Mrs. Winters is one of our most valued supporters. Her technology company's IPO last year was quite newsworthy. Technology company? Sophia's voice rose an octave. But Tom said you worked in computers. I do, I replied calmly. As CEO of Winter Tech Solutions, we specialize in medical software integration, which is actually how I first connected with Metropolitan General. The lobby was filling with staff now, many pausing to watch the scene unfold. I could see the exact moment Sophia remembered every dismissive comment, every condescending instruction, every time she treated me like the help. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. Would it have mattered? I kept my voice gentle. Would knowing I had money have made me more worthy of respect? Before she could answer, Dr. Harrison called everyone to attention. If I could have everyone gather round, we're ready to begin the dedication ceremony. I took my place near the veiled plaque as Dr. Harrison began his speech about the hospital's commitment to pediatric care. Sophia stood at the back of the crowd, looking lost in her new uniform. And now, Dr. Harrison continued, Mrs. Winters would like to say a few words about why she chose to support our pediatric oncology department. Taking the podium, I looked out at the assembled staff. 3 years ago, I sat in this hospital's old pediatric wing while my goddaughter Emma fought leukemia. I watched her parents sleep in chairs, saw families struggling to stay together during the hardest times of their lives. Emma won her battle, but the experience changed me forever. I paused, finding Sophia's eyes in the crowd. Money can buy many things, but what matters most is how we use it to help others. This wing isn't about having my name on a building. It's about giving families a chance to focus on healing instead of logistics. It's about treating everyone, regardless of their background or status, with dignity and respect. The sheet came down from the plaque, revealing the wing's name and my portrait. Applause filled the lobby, but I kept watching Sophia. Tears had started rolling down her cheeks. After the ceremony, she approached me hesitantly. The rooftop garden you mentioned at the party, you weren't just making conversation, were you? No, I led her toward the elevators. Would you like to see it? As nurse manager, you should know all the facilities available to your patients. The ride-up was silent. When we reached the rooftop, Sophie gasped. Raised garden beds filled with colorful flowers lined the space, with comfortable seating areas scattered throughout. A glass greenhouse stood in one corner, ready for winter use. This is amazing, she whispered. Every detail was planned with the families in mind, I explained. Sometimes parents need a quiet place to cry, or children need to feel sunshine during long hospital stays. Sophia turned to me, her carefully applied makeup streaked with tears. I've been horrible to you. All these years, treating you like you were beneath me because you didn't fit my idea of success. You're not the first person to underestimate me, Sophia, and you probably won't be the last. How can you be so calm about it? Why did you ever put me in my place? I walked to the edge of the garden, touching a bright yellow sunflower. Because proving people wrong isn't nearly as satisfying as showing them a better way to be right. You're good at your job, Sophia. That's why you got this position. Now you have a chance to show that same excellence in how you treat others. She joined me at the flower bed, careful to maintain professional distance. I don't deserve your forgiveness. This isn't about forgiveness, I replied. It's about growth. Besides, we'll be working together quite closely. I chair the pediatric advisory board. Her eyes widened. You're going to be my boss. In a way. But I prefer to think of it as a partnership. These kids deserve our best, don't you think? Sophia nodded slowly, then straightened her uniform. I should get to orientation. I have a lot to learn, apparently, about medicine and other things. As she turned to leave, I called after her, "Oh, and Sophia, next time you host a party, maybe hire actual wait staff. I'll be busy in board meetings." For the first time in our relationship, she laughed, a genuine laugh free of pretense. I deserve that. Yes, I smiled. You did. 6 months later, I sat in a hospital boardroom reviewing patient satisfaction scores. The numbers told a story of transformation, not just of the facility, but of the people within it. Mrs. Winters. Sophia knocked on the door, holding a stack of files. Gone was the designer handbag, replaced by practical medical equipment. Do you have a moment to discuss the new parent support program? Of course, and please, after 6 months, can you finally call me Andrea? She smiled, a real smile, not the social facade she'd once worn like armor. Old habits. But speaking of old habits, I wanted to show you something. She handed me a letter from a patient's family. As I read it, my eyes welled up. It praised not just the facility, but specifically mentioned Sophia's compassionate care and attention to families' emotional needs. You've come a long way from critiquing serving techniques, I said softly. I had a good teacher, she replied, settling into a chair. Though I still can't believe you let me treat you that way for so long. Especially now that I know you could have bought my house 10 times over. Money doesn't define worth, Sophia. You of all people should understand that now. She nodded, looking out at the rooftop garden where several patients were enjoying the spring sunshine. Yesterday, I found one of our new nurses crying in the greenhouse. Her patient, we lost him. Instead of telling her to maintain professional distance, like I would have 6 months ago, I sat with her, listened, shared my own experiences. That's exactly why you're good at this job. You learn to see people, not positions. A comfortable silence fell between us, so different from the tense atmospheres of her past parties. Finally, she spoke again. Tom and I had dinner last week, first time in years without me making snide comments about his choice in wives. She laughed softly. He told me you're expanding Winter Tech into pediatric home care monitoring systems. Yes, we're developing software to help parents track medication schedules and vital signs at home. Speaking of which, I pulled out a contract. The hospital board would like to be our pilot program site. As nurse manager, I need your signature. Her eyes widened as she read the document. This could change everything for our outpatient care. That's the plan. As she signed, her hand paused. I had a thought about the summer fundraiser. Instead of my usual cocktail party, what if we did something here? Let the donors meet the families, see the real impact of their contributions. Sounds perfect, I smiled. Just don't ask me to serve drinks. Never again, she promised, then hesitated. Though I do make a terrible martini if you'd like to return the favor. We both laughed, the sound echoing through the boardroom. Outside, a young patient waved at us from the garden, her head bald from chemotherapy, but her smile bright as sunshine. Thank you, Sophia said suddenly, not just for the wing, but for showing me what really matters. I needed that lesson more than I knew. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. Welcome to the family, Sophia, the real one, not the one you were trying so hard to impress. She gathered her files, pausing at the door. Dinner this weekend. I promise no serving trays in sight. I'd like that. As she left, I looked at my reflection in the window. Not the portrait hanging in the lobby, but the real me. Sometimes the best investments aren't in buildings or technology, but in people. And sometimes the greatest wealth comes from watching others discover their own true worth. The garden below bloomed with possibility, and somewhere in the hospital, my sister-in-law was finally becoming the person she was meant to be. No price tag could measure that kind of return on investment.